Hey, this video is going to talk about debugging a little bit. I've created a little program here. It's a C++ program that the user enters a number of cups and the program will convert that value into the correct number of pints. In order to know what that conversion is, we can actually cheat a little bit and use something like Google. So cups in pints. So according to Google, which is very correct, 1 cup is equal to half of a pint. So I've already entered in the formula up here in my function cups to pints. This function will take a value of cups and return the number of pints. So if I want to test this program, I'm going to it's always good to know what the answer is to your program. So if I put in a value 4 cups and I want to see how many pints that is, that says it equals 2. That should be, I'm not suggesting to use Google to check all of your work, but just use a trusted source to check your work and make sure your programs are correct before you submit them. So 4 cups equals 2 pints. That's great. But that doesn't mean our code is right. We always want to test as many values as we feel is necessary until we're happy that the program is correct. Maybe we want to do 4.5 cups. So let's see, 4.5 cups is equal to 2 pints. Well, 4 cups was equal to 2 pints, so this doesn't quite look right. And sure enough, if we check it with a calculator, well, it should be 2.25 pints. So we know something's wrong. So let's go look at our code. The concept I want to introduce to you is called setting a breakpoint. And to do that, this little gray column over here on the left, if you click next to a number in this gray column, you'll notice the red dot. That's called a breakpoint. And now, if we run our code, you'll notice the code stopped on this line. At the top here in our toolbar, there's these little debugging icons. This one here is called step into. We'll get to that in a second. But here is step over. So I'm going to step line by line and watch this thing run. You'll notice down here in the variables section, we've just initialized these values to 0, and we can actually watch those values. So as I run, now it's going to say in my console window, enter the number of cups, and I'm on the line where it's going to ask me to enter that value. So go ahead and hit 4.5, hit enter, click back in your window, and you'll notice the arrow is now on this particular line. Go ahead and step over that line. Pints is equal to 2. So we know that's wrong. Something went wrong on this line, but this line contains a function called cups to pints. So maybe instead of stepping over that function, maybe we should have stepped into this function. So I'm going to clear that breakpoint by clicking on it because I know everything was fine up until this line. I'm going to set a new breakpoint on this line. I'm going to run my program up to that point. It stops here. I'm going to come back up on the toolbar and choose the step into function. It should follow this function. So it actually steps into this cups to pints function, and now I can use my step over tool, and you'll notice these variables are now in the function. So as I step over, I notice, oh, right there, this line right here is where the problem is, because the result should have been 2.25. So now I know exactly where the problem is, and what I can do, I can look at this and say, oh, wait a minute. Pints is an integer, so it can only be a whole number. So what's happening is the math works. 4.5 divided by 2 is 2.25, but since pints can only be a whole number, it's rounded to the nearest integer. If we change the data type here to a double, I'd be willing to bet that it works. And it does.